Okay, hi, Sage in here, and we're going to do the Enneagram for Scorpio 15. Children playing around 5 mounds of sand. What you see here is a copy of my blog at Sabian Symbologist on WordPress. And I print these out and I remind myself what my reflections were back when I wrote these. And I edit them if I feel they need to be edited. And it happens that on Scorpio 15, I had a poem of the Sandman. And I read through that and it was very lovely and I enjoyed it. For each of the Sabian symbols, I have given them taglines. Similar to what Diana Roche did in her book, Screen of Prophecy, the Sabian Symbols, where she gave them themes. Dr. Mark Edmund Jones gave them keywords and full interpretations, the official ones. So again, on Sabian Symbologist on WordPress, those are simply my reflections, and they are apt to change as I become more familiar with the Sabian symbols. But the tagline that I gave for Scorpio 15 was, just a hint of things to come. And then here I have Dr. Jones' reflections of it, not his official interpretation, but in 1931, when just his students were studying the Sabian symbols in the Sabian Assembly, he wrote about Scorpio 15 this way. So I always like to look at Mark's reflections and his official interpretation. And so here's what he said. In unconscious occult symbolism, a group of laughing, joyous children are playing on 5 mounds of white sand. The key word is different from the 1953 version, which is naivety. In 1931, he called it gratification. This is a symbol of the basic patterning of all life, or of the touch of reality which the senses of man in 5-fold expression give to all experience. Positively, it is a degree of honesty in self-expression. Negatively, a blind worship of mere form. Okay, so Scorpio 15 happens to be what we call a meeting of the minds day. If you take a sign such as Scorpio and you make a whole circle out of the 30 degrees, then 1 through 15 will be the first hemisphere of that circle, and 16 through 30 will be the second hemisphere of that circle of Scorpio. So 15 is the end of the first hemisphere, making it a meeting of the minds day. And that's what Dane Rudhyar called it, was the fall into neutrality, where all of that objective specializing experience of Scorpio comes to neutrality, and then begins the collective hemisphere of Scorpio 16 through 30. And on the 30th degree, the entire sign falls into neutrality and births Sagittarius. Anyway, I didn't know I was going to go into all of that, but I'm just gonna say what's on my mind here. So let me show you. Remember in my audio, I had talked to you about how I like to do the Tic-Tac-Toe Grid. Well, here's what that looks like. And what I have in each one of those squares right now are the taglines. Okay, I've taken off the life experiences. They were written on Post-its, and I've put them onto, I remember I told you that everything evolves till it gets to the beautiful Enneagram design. So I've taken those Post-its off of here, but this is how I track them. Okay, I did 1, 2, 3, 4, end of the first, the 4-fold. Then I went into the 5-fold. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, that's what I did. Right now, only the taglines are there. Nothing personal that you can see about me. But You can see a lot of other information there. There's the tarot, there's what we call the magic squares, there's the commandment, the 10 words of the day, the magic glyph. Okay, there's just all kinds of information that I avail myself of each day. But I wanted to show you that. That's how I track it, the 9 spots. Okay, and just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, excuse me. This is what the report looks like from Solar Fire. I've got the Ascendant Enneagram and the Midheaven Enneagram there. I've circled both sunrise and midheaven. So this is the report I'm working from to glean 2 Sabian symbols. I also spoke about my book. Today, Naïveté, Scorpio 15, the cross and the star. There are 4 parts of the cross, 5 parts of the star, so there are 9. But Scorpio 15 serves the first spot of the 4 and the first spot of the 5. Okay, because it bumps up a dimension. After the 4, the structure of the day, okay, then we spread to 5. So, Scorpio 15, cross model, then start with Scorpio 15 again, and then you go to the 5 model. 4 and 5 is 9. So that's what I track on that. That's what I track on the Tic-Tac-Toe Grid, is the On the Shoulders of Giants. And it reads this way. Just a hint of things to come. We may soon achieve our goal. All those memorized moments. The due diligence of life. End of 4. Begin again. Just a hint of things to come. Devotion to happiness. Follow the path of the heart. I find this so curious. Love exists before the birth. That's what the On the Shoulders of Giants version reads like in the Enneagram on the taglines. Now we're going to go, to keep this short, I'll show you what it looks like when we're done. But right now, there's my Post-its. I love Post-its. And I think more than Post-its, I love whiteout. But nevertheless, let us begin. So I'm going to just take these up and read them to you, the taglines for the 2 Enneagram models, Ascendant and Midheaven, and the Sabian symbol from On the Shoulders of Giants. So we have a 3-way read, but we have an overseer. We begin in the first house with the Magician. Now remember, the Hermit from the night before has handed off a truth to the Magician. In the invisible realm, the Magician begins doing his work, and most likely you are sound asleep. So I like to look back and see what was coming. If dreams came, if I wake up with morning thoughts or an earworm, I'm able to look back and see what was going on then. And here's what was going on. Life lived in conquest of dreams. I'm going to lay these out for myself to read. I guess I'll start here. Life lived in conquest of dreams, to hold the world in your palm. Self-contained integrity. And then the On the Shoulders of Giants, Scorpio 15, just a hint of things to come. Okay, and the Magician is ruling. Now what happened in real life experience for me that falls into all of that we just heard? Well, I opened a book from, I happen to have many of Mark Edmund Jones' books. Some of them are very old. And I opened a very colorful paperback book of how to learn astrology. Now, most of those are hardcover, and they're not. I only have one copy of this paperback version. It's orange. Oh, I can show you because I do keep. Well, I don't know that I have the whole book. But anyway, on the front of it were these delightful images. And I was just sitting there, and it entranced me because it was so colorful, and I love colors. And so I picked it up out of curiosity, wondering how this, it was for $1.45. And I looked through it, and there were two little pieces of paper, and I read those. And there was one entry under the index, and it was about Cazimi. Now that's very special to me because I have a group of my daughters and women who are in a little group with me called Cazimi. We named ourselves that. So here was this delightful book. That's what I experienced in the morning. Let's go back, The Magician, and read again the taglines and feel that. Life lived in conquest of dreams. That's an inventor experimenting. To hold the world in your palm. That's Aries 22. The gate to the gate to the of desire. Oh, I can look right here. I've got it right here. See, that's the beauty. Is everything's right at my touch. Oh, I took the okay, so it is November. Okay. The gate to the garden of desire. The gate to the garden of desire, prospect. So keep this in mind. Self-contained integrity, Leo 23, a bareback rider. And just a hint of things to come. Children playing around 5 mounds of sand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. White sand, 5 children playing. Me and the other 4. And that's what happened on that. Next came the High Priestess. She's veiled. She's meditation. What happened? Let's take a look. Let's grab the next ones off, too. Here are our words for that. We've gone from motion to change. We're going to change now. Something's going to happen. We're going to feel ourselves leaving one room of this cathedral or of this mansion, this temple, something changes. So I'm done with the paperback book, and I did some things. I did a video for my grandchildren, and I made copies of this for them, and so on and so forth. It was involved. There was motion going on there. I was inspired by it. But now I could feel a change. Here are the taglines. If at first you don't succeed, Libra 3, innovation. High Priestess. Spend today on tippy toes. Gemini 3, which I know to be a time portal. The Garden of the Tuileries. We may soon achieve our goal. Taurus 15, which is what I call the magician symbol. Funny, right? High Priestess has it now. Magician just handed it off. There's the High Priestess. So what happened in my life experience? I'm listening to an audio recording of Alice in Wonderland done by one of my family members for the younger generation. It's the birthday of somebody very special to me. Well, it's not their birthday, it's their mother's birthday who has passed, but it's always a very special day for them. And so we made sure to say happy birthday to her. And then he had shared a picture of an artist that she loved who painted pictures of big-eyed children. And It was very touching. It was a very sentimental thing. I'm listening to stories of Alice in Wonderland, and it was the chapter 5, which is a caterpillar gives advice. And Alice is saying how she's changed during the night, or she's changed. She doesn't feel the same as she did before. And then here this birthday was celebrated. So I will take that into consideration of the second house of the High Priestess, almost a sentimental thing going on and a relating to different generations, those who have passed, those who are here that love them, and those who are here that are taking care of younger ones by investing themselves in reading stories to them. So you can see that generational thing. So again, it was, if at first you don't succeed, spend today on tippy toes, and we may soon achieve our goal. So a great voice of encouragement and hope. Keep doing the things you're doing. After motion and change comes orientation. Now you begin to set your direction for the day based on these things that have happened. And here is the Empress. This is the first arrival in the visible realm. The Magician and High Priestess work in the invisible realm and are influencing these archetypal. These are from the Rider-Waite. Okay, so here we are, the Empress. So we have royalty here. Now comes sunrise. Now you can understand that I'm taking my life experiences all awake, yet they're falling into invisible and visible realms within the Enneagram. So this is not a time and space model. This is beyond time and space. This is in the dimensions of now. Okay, so what happens in the third house, which orientation? Which way are we going to go with all of this? And here are our taglines. Life lived in conquest of dreams. We've heard that before, right? Because our Enneagrams are interweaving. They're going to come up and crisscross each other, but paired differently. Life lived in conquest of dreams. Scorpio 13. Sunrise. Yes, yes. Nothing to see here. Move on. That's interesting. All those memorized moments. Aquarius 15. Two lovebirds on a fence. Okay. I have some really important phone calls taking place here. And it's what I call a holder. We've set up a time to talk, but the moment of agreeing to talk was happening right then. So everything else, it got scheduled into the future of the day, but its place marker was there. And I do that by putting a little bucket, like here's the spot, here's where it's going to happen. But it holds the marker. So at daybreak, at the very beginning of the day, a very important phone call was arranged to take place. Life lived in conquest of dreams. All those memorized moments, so something about the past and something about the future, and nothing to see here, move on. I didn't even write down what that was because we had a marker. We had a marker. Okay. And it was important, and so royalty it was, and there we were. The next one. Now, in the Enneagram, something important to know about 4 and 5, rooms 4 and 5, is they are always connected together. You don't separate the 4 from the 5. Just like on the Shoulders of Giants, the 4 and the 5. I couldn't write this book just about the 4 or just about the 5. The 4 and the 5 are always connected. So that's why they're both in this book. Likewise, in the Enneagram, 4 and 5 are going to speak to each other side by side. And who are they? The Emperor and the Hierophant. So this is like church and state. This is like the closeness of our religion, our standards, our morals, and how we run society and who's in charge. That's a very important thing to note about 4 and 5, okay? Our rulers and our ecclesiastical rulers, or our secular standards combined with our spiritual standards within ourselves. Okay, so we're going to read 4 and 5 together. First, we'll do the Emperor, 4. Okay, and at 4, here are the ones. Why do you want to go there? Immigrants entering, Sagittarius 23. Self-contained integrity, we've heard that before. That's Leo 23, a bareback rider. The due diligence of life, Leo 15. Demonstration, which is a pageant. Now, let's read. I'm going to save what happened. I'm going to read 5, the taglines for 5. If at first you don't succeed, we've heard that, Libra 3, innovation. Clearance for the way ahead, Aquarius 3, defiance. Just a hint of things to come, Scorpio 15, the goddess day degree. Okay, so here's what happened there. We're talking about new moon in our Cazimi group. But I am also providing a document for my phone call that's going to be coming later. So I let that conversation go on in Cazimi group about new moon, which is coming up. But I'm tending to business. So do you see, why do you want to go there? I want to talk about new moon, but I have duties to do, okay? This is the Emperor. I must take care of my duties. Even though I know this is going on, there are things I must attend to. Self-contained integrity, I must do my duty. The due diligence of life. Do you see how that's the Emperor? But do you see the infiltration of the Cazimi thing happening over here? There's the 4 and the 5 not able to be separated. So now we're at the 5 because I've taken care of my duties. So now I can just segue nicely into the Cazimi thing. And I have been concerned about somebody who usually sends me my reports, and I haven't heard from him for a while. And I'm getting worried because always we're in touch at new moon. And I mentioned him in the previous audio, and that was Brett Poe. Well, I sent him a text mail. Please let me know that you're okay, because we're talking about new moon over here. And you're my new moon, you're my solar fire report person. Where are you, and are you okay? I haven't heard from you for a while. And he sends me that he's okay. Now this happens under the spiritual realm of the Hierophant. So do you see how taking care of secular duties, taking care of spiritual duties, and all is well because duties were taken care of and concerns were allayed and put to rest. The new moon, all of that wonderful stuff. And actually ended up in that phone call with tears. I got a tutorial. He taught me about solar fire, which I have. I just haven't loaded up yet. Anyway, it was a fantastic, fantastic meeting. Okay, so now we go on to the Lovers. This is the 6th house of the Enneagram, the Lovers. Okay, so you can see how that follows on the Hierophant, because who takes care of marriages or commitments to things? The Hierophant. I mean, you can get married in a court. Yes, you can get married that way, but you can get married by tradition, covenant-wise, with the Hierophant, the one who speaks for God on earth, right? So that's how the tarot goes to now. There's some kind of a commitment, a connection, a partnership is being arranged here. Here are our taglines. Life lived in conquest of dreams. There's Scorpio 13. Now that means that for yesterday, sunrise for everybody was Scorpio. Well, it was 14 for you. Never mind. Whatever it took, I did. Pisces 13, conscience. A conscience thing. An inventor, cleverness. The conscience is activated here. Pisces 13. Devotion to happiness. This is a mountain pilgrimage. Devotion to happiness, Capricorn 23. These are where the Enneagrams are interlinking. Okay, so what's happening here with the Lovers? Okay, so I get, see, this is where you know it's flowing. I get an unexpected text from somebody in my family, one of the parents of little ones. She's telling me how delighted she is to be involved with the group. We call it KOA, Kids of Aquarius, and it's all the grandchildren. And there are 12 grandchildren and 12 it's just wonderful, this big group. But the parents are involved, reading the Alice in Wonderland stories, providing posters, sending links for at-home school educational stuff, just sharing wonderful things with each other to keep our family united. You can see how that falls under the lovers, the marriage, the agreement, the commitments, the group functioning there, the real deep committal covenant type stuff. And then additionally, I get that important phone call that I've been preparing for all day. And that also is a group functioning. And we're having a very serious talk about matters of concern there. And so that is a wonderful experience. And then I also get an offer to, I haven't made up my mind if I'm going to do it yet or not, but an offer to go and visit family. So do you see how that all is about commitment and family and covenant type stuff? Just beautiful. By the way, I haven't done this yet. I know this works. I trust this. This is my life's work and my passion. I don't need to prep myself and read it first and make sure it works before I do a video. I'm doing it with you. I'm seeing the connections as we go. The next one is the Chariot. Now that you've got your direction and you've got your commitment and you've done your duty and all of this, now you're going to take off. You're going to go somewhere. You're going to accomplish something. And so this is the Chariot, willpower. Okay, you got your groups, you got your functioning, you know who you are, where you belong, who your groups are, and now you're going to go. So what are we going to do? Okay, well, let's see. What's our taglines? Why do you want to go there? Well, there's a question, a rhetorical question saying, okay, you're going to go somewhere. Why do you want to go there? Next one is Aries 23. This is a woman with a heavy, how does it say? Aries 23, a woman with oh, I've got an incoming call. Hold on just a minute. Let me get rid of this. Interesting. I'll have to check the time of that call and draw a chart. Do you see what I mean? That happened while I'm talking about Aries 23. So let's just take a moment. Let's not hurry. Let's take a moment to look at Aries 23. A woman in pastel colors, carrying a heavy and valuable but veiled load. So when I think of that, I think back here to the High Priestess. A heavy and valuable but veiled load, invisible. Okay, so yeah, but I'm not going to say that. Okay, so my tagline for that is a white stone with a new name. Aries 9, follow the path of the heart. Okay, so what happened? Okay, I had done a Tarot Arcanum on Samhain with a friend of mine, Sarah Noble, and we had a lovely tarot read, and I had written out the first 4 houses for her, and I wanted to move on and do the future and the past rows of the Arcanum. So I was doing that, the future and the past, from our Samhain tarot reading, and my son called me, and we started discussing his future employment potentials. He was getting some offers, and he just wanted to talk them over with me. And I told him about a little, I wish I had within arm's reach, but I don't. I'm going to tell it to you really quick, though, a way that I deal with when I have choices to make. You put the issue into a funnel. You put the issue, the matter, into a funnel. And then it issues out. The difference between a noun and a verb. And it comes out, what was one big mass comes out as 2. A positive and a negative, pros and cons, this way or that way, the duality that we see things in. But beneath these 2 is a happy face. And that happy face, that smile, represents your ideals. Where do you want to go? Why do you want to go there? Do you see how this is working? It's so fun. One of these is black, one is white. They're opposites of each other. It doesn't mean good or bad. It means this way or this way, the duality. We can see doing this or we can see doing that. We can see the positive and the negatives of both. But we have to keep our eye on our ideals. What outcome do we want? What are we looking for in life? Follow the path of the heart. So I explained to him this funnel experiment to sit down with himself and spend some time thinking about, why do you want to go there? Where is it you want to go and why do you want to go there? Follow the path of the heart, this way or this way, as long as it ends up in a happy face. Both ways will have trials, ups and downs. That's life. That doesn't matter. Follow the path of the heart. Wow. The next card is strength. Now, we need strength because this is the 8th tarot card of the major arcana, because this is where shadow work takes place. I have some little tidbits about shadow work. Shadow work, number 1. We need our shadow. Think about the movie Peter Pan. Peter Pan had Wendy sew his shadow back on. It belongs to him. It is our shadow. And you can do shadow play, right? You can do shadow play. Or you can do shadow work. And if your shadow isn't behaving, if it's a trigger point, something in you that is acting up, you can make it sit in the corner. Okay? It must obey you. But if you're trying to clear a shadow, this degree, this place in the Enneagram, which if you study the rainbow, 40 degrees, this is where I'm learning. This is where Alexander's band is. You have one rainbow, then you have a dark band, then you have a double rainbow inverted. This is where shadow work takes place in Alexander's band. Let's find out what our taglines were for the 8th house and what kind of a shadow showed up. Was it playful? Was it something I had to contend with? Clearance for the way ahead, Aquarius 3, defiance. Interesting. Spend today on tippy toes, time portal, Gemini 3, the garden of the Tuileries. And I find this so curious. Gemini 21, and that is, let's go to that. I don't want to skip over it. I want to look at it, and I want to read it to you. Gemini 21, which is a labor demonstration. So we've got defiance, and we've got a labor demonstration, which I find so curious. And clearance for the way ahead is defiance. And if you look at Aquarius 3, I'm going to read you what that symbol is so we have an idea going into shadow work here. What, hold on just a second. Okay, here we go. A deserter from the Navy. Those are interesting interweaving Enneagram symbols to show up. Let's see what happened. Oh, this was new moon. I go outside right after new moon, and there are little spider strands of silk floating through the air. There's also, and I didn't share this, I shared a Facebook post about that. They're called, it's called ballooning, spider ballooning. It's where the little spiders project the silk thread from their abdomen where their spinneret is, and they float on the air. It's how they plant themselves different places in search of food or whatever. And you know, I mean, it's the risk they take. It's how they mobilize and go. So deserter from the Navy, how cute is that? I find this so curious. How true is that? and spend today on tippy toes. There goes those little spiders. So that's cute, but was there more to it? And what I also saw, as I saw all that, was there was a UPS truck blocking the street, and one car wanting to, here's the truck, one car wanting to go around, but another car coming this way with the big truck in the middle, right? So this one sees that one, so he backs off. This one actually is doing one of these maneuvers back into a driveway, which allows this guy to go by, but he's a little perturbed. He's a little perturbed, and he kind of does a little peel out. Well, I find that a little curious, a labor demonstration. We can't all get along on the street. Do you see how that happened in perfect time with this part of the Enneagram? So I would say that I got to observe shadow work on how people can't get along, defiance, representation, labor demonstration. I can see that. Spent today on tippy toes, little spider webs going. Beautiful. Freaking beautiful. Okay, we're in the last house. This is the Hierophant. This is the Hierophant. This is capitalization or actualization. It's being able to gain full advantage from the day. Let's read what our taglines are. Whatever it took, I did. Pisces 13, conscience. Nothing to see here, move along. Cancer 13. Nothing to see here, move along. Love exists before the birth. Two angels bring protection, security. Virgo 3. Wow, those are all really beautiful. Conscience, determination, meaning you determine something. Not like you're determined, but you're determining something. Nothing to see here, move along. And love exists before the birth, that the angels are already here with you. Okay? What I did was I'm making my own set of deacons, which is a 3-part story for every sign. And so it was past time to be making the second deacon, but time hadn't allotted for it. But I also know that when the time's right, the time's now. So at the end of the day, that's what I was doing, was creating my second deacon. And I decided to call it meeting at the depths, because we're in Scorpio. Okay, and so what happened was I made it. I wish I could show it to you. Let me see if I have a picture of it. I made it. I hope I have it, but I might not. No, I just have charts. I get my charts and everything. I don't have it here to show you. I'm sorry. I'll put a picture of it on there, okay? But anyway, I did it. I laminated it front and back, and it was meeting at the depths, and the phrase was, I will search for truth. Anyway, I took it outside in my little garage office. I like to sit out there. Sometimes I have my little magnet boards and everything, and I put it on its little clip pedestal. I clipped it up there, and I was really happy to finally have my second deacon for Scorpio done, even though it was late. And I turned on the little light, you know, one of those little desk lamps, and the light was shining through the picture. And what I had chosen as the picture now showed up where it was a profile of, well, it's hard to explain, from the abyss, where the water forms into a man's face. And she's pointing her finger at it, like this water has come out and looks like a face, right? And she's pointing at it. And when I turned the light on, this face, water face, turned this way and had 2 horns on it. And I looked at it, and I took a picture of it. Of course, the eye sees differently than the camera does, but I kind of got it, and maybe you'll be able to see it when I put the picture there for you to see. But there was my determination, nothing to see here, move along. Like, I'm not I'm not going to be perturbed after the beautiful day I've had. And whatever it took, I did. I took my pictures, I wrote about it, I turned off the light, I took my beautiful second deacon in, I will search for truth, and love exists before the birth. So it was a beautiful day. I'm happy to have been able to go through this with you guys. This is my Lillian Snake trademark for the Sabian Assembly. I love this. I love this symbol. It's the greatest symbol ever. It's Fields of Ardath. It's just a beautiful symbol. But anyways, I just want to close now with the Wheel of Fortune. Because after a day is done, the Wheel of Fortune spins and we wake up with all new symbols the next day and we begin all over again. But days are magical. Days are very unique and individual. And you can probably remember 9 things you did today. You could take 9 Post-its and write your 9 things down. I'll keep working on this system. I will. And we will get to a point where it's more user-friendly. It's my work, it's my passion, it's my love. So I don't mind doing the work, no matter what it takes. I don't mind. But I do understand that it must be user-friendly and easy for people to use. Time is busy. Time is money. Survival first. You're busy raising families. You're busy doing outings. You're busy doing stuff. But I think there's a way to make this usable and friendly for the average person. And I don't get to be really average too much. But I came here to do this work. I don't mind. It's what I want to do. So I'm going to just shut up now and just tell you thank you for those of you who did hang around and listen. Thank you very much. And going through this day with me. And I will be back in a few months with an update on where the system's gotten.